And medical reports indicate a rise in fistula cases, with 45 women undergone successful treatment. Warm welcome, viewers of SSBC. Thank you so much for joining us from wherever you're tuning in. We're coming to you live from Juba. My name is Gore Anthony with the news in detail. The Council of Ministers, chaired by President Salva Kiir Mayardit, has approved the long-awaited National Budget 2025-2026 fiscal year budget amounting to 7 trillion South Sudanese pounds. The approval underscores the need for a decisive and coordinated actions to confront the ongoing economic challenges in the country. Our reporter, Aliando Lotok, files us this report.
The Council of Ministers reconvened on Friday after months of pause, with President Salva Kiir Mayardit at the helm, approving a 7 trillion SSP budget for the 2025-2026 financial year. During the meeting, President Kiir called on ministers to elevate performance across all institutions, stressing accountability and efficiency as central pillars of government service delivery. In a major policy shift, the cabinet resolved to ban unnecessary tax and duty exemptions, citing billions lost through loopholes that have strained national revenue. Speaking to SSBC after the meeting, Information Minister Michael Makwei-Lueth said the cabinet has instructed the Minister of Finance and Planning to table the budget before the National Assembly without delay.
And thereafter gave us a briefing on the proposed budget, that is 2025-2026 fiscal year. In his presentation, he told us that the resource envelope is 7 trillion South Sudanese pounds, 7 trillion South Sudanese pounds, with a deficit of 1.5 trillion South Sudanese pounds. However, he promised that they will improve on the revenue collection so that they are in a position to cover this deficit, which is 1.5 trillion South Sudanese pounds. After thorough deliberation and the concerns of the members of the cabinet approved the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget as presented and directed the Minister of Finance and Planning to table it before the Transitional National Legislative Assembly for consideration.
Back in the meeting hall, ministers listened to a comprehensive report from the Minister of Finance and Planning detailing the country's current economic situation. The minister outlined strategies to revitalize the economy, cushion citizens from hardship, and reinforce core financial systems.
His Excellency the President gave the cabinet directives that we, as from now onwards, if we are serious and we need to implement the agreement, we need to implement whatever budget we have. We want to improve on our economic situation. It is our duty to make sure that whatever collections are made correctly and deposited to the chest. No, this idea of exemption, which is taking most of our revenues, the exemptions should be stopped and should be for a specific, this power should be only limited to specific individuals on certain circumstances so that we avoid losing revenue and giving exemptions to people who do not deserve to be exempted. Business people being exempted instead of us collecting revenue from them for our services, we are doing the opposite. He also directed that as from now onward, nobody is allowed to sign any loan against the government unless he is an authorized person. This came as this observation came in because it has been observed that there are some individuals who have been signing millions of dollars on behalf of the government without any authorization. So His Excellency directed that we must be very careful this time and make sure that we respect our laws and implement them as they are.
The session also highlighted critical infrastructure developments. The Minister of Roads and Bridges, Simon Mijok, presented progress on the proposed South Sudan-Ethiopia highway, a strategic road set to link South Sudan to the port of Djibouti. Once completed, the road is expected to open a new corridor for transporting South Sudan's crude oil to international market.
This, of course, was a road construction agreed between the government of South Sudan and the government of Ethiopia. With this, all the processes have been implemented, except that there are some issues that are still outstanding in terms of operationalization of the project itself. But it is expected that by early next year, the project will start and the construction of the road will start.
The cabinet further issued a firm directive banning any individual or institution from signing loans on behalf of the government without following full legal procedures, a move aimed at protecting national financial integrity. With approval now granted at the executive level, the 7 trillion SSP budget moves to Parliament for debate and adoption as the government works to steady the economy and strengthen public institutions in the year ahead. Alejandro Lotok, SSBC.
And moving on, Juba and Washington have renewed commitment to deepening bilateral relations for mutual benefit of the citizens of both nations. This comes in a meeting between the Presidential Advisor on National Security Affairs, Galwak Manime, and the U.S. Ambassador to South Sudan, Michael J. Adler, which focus on addressing South Sudan's current political and economic situations in the country. The diplomat Adler reiterated his country's commitment to support peace effort and national stability. For his part, Manime assured the U.S. diplomat of the government's commitment to peace and stability.
Our position on peace is unambiguous and clear. We call for dialogue. Personally, I know that had I been born South Sudanese, my life would have already touched on 4 civil wars. This country does not need any more war. This country needs peace. We discussed the importance of the use of public revenue, especially to pay salaries for soldiers, police, security personnel, civil servants. I raised our grave concern about the interference and the abuse directed by some officials at county, state, and regrettably even national levels.
Moving on to the National Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Dr. Joseph Gengakech, has commended the legal administration and public prosecutions for effectively enforcing the law despite the existing challenges. Dr. Akech also inspected the legal administration and the public prosecution's premises. Emmanuel Duku has more in the following report.
Reforming legal system, sharing vision and achieving justice to without fear is the motto of the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. On his first visit to the legal administration and public prosecutors at the Central and Northern Division Police Station, addressing the reception ceremony, the public prosecutor Sarafino Simon Mezan explained the nature of the work and the challenge to theirs to work activities.
Construction of offices for public prosecution attorneys separately from police station to avoid inconvenience. Provide the public prosecution attorney with mobility. There is a need for capacity building in terms of criminal and civil cases in addition to English language. Lack of forensic laboratory in the country.
The public prosecutor Dengashwil Adija asked all the public prosecutors to uphold their appearance and provide service to the public according to the law.
In all, that reflect our image as professional legal counsels or the public prosecution to represent our minister at all levels. The tools are when you have your salary at time, or when we have our emoluments and all this. Those are not there. But also, you are mandated to do your professional, although if you don't have that, do your duty.
The Undersecretary in the Ministry of Justice, Mary Ajit, applauded the legal administration and public prosecutors for its role in the legal system. She urged all the public prosecutors to deliver legal services to South Sudanese.
They are accused throughout with corruption. And this is something we will not remove him from our hand. But my advice is that let us clear ourselves. Let us do our work in diligence. We took an oath and we say we will do our work without fear and favor. So please, let us hold that principle.
Dr. Genga Kech pledges to address the challenges to public prosecutors and the legal administration and strengthen capacity building programs for addressing matters to do with artificial intelligence.
If it weren't for you, justice would not have been served to our people. We also know under the criminal justice system that prosecution is quite difficult if you have not gathered evidence. So we said that one area of priority would be the criminal justice reform. This we will do together with you, where you will tell us what challenges you experience and how we can solve those. The second and most important is your capacity strengthening.
The minister's visit is part of the pledges made upon assuming office to acquaint himself with the nature of the work and associate challenge and to adopt strategic policy